Jutsu. We are here tonight. You have Midnight and Tish.
So why don't you want a background?
I don't like the background. It's just weird to me that it's only because Zoom does it weird. It zooms out. It pans, and I don't like it panning. I just wanted to. I don't like the background. I just don't like the background.
Okay.
The backgrounds are whack.
I mean, my background is hot. Something like 5.
Okay.
It didn't take that much.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to update the name, we'll do that later. But for now, Tisha and Chris is fine.
All right, because I was gonna start calling myself the darkest light skinned brother.
I don't have a nickname yet. I haven't figured out one yet. What's
So this is what I did as a grown up. So I gave myself a nickname.
I don't have.
Let me tell you that
I've been Sky Fairy. I've been Black Fairy.
you've been what?
Sky Fairy. That's
Sky
why.
Fairy.
Mm-hmm. Sky Fairy. That's why Fairy. I've been Black Fairy. What else have I been?
Okay, so are all these like nicknames ex-boyfriends gave you?
No, I named myself.
No, okay.
Those are self-inflicted names. I love that.
So why?
Why? You love fairies.
Because you're a fairy.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy, very bubbly.
Because you're a fairy.
I just love fairies. I could be a fairy if you like to think so.
Because you're a fairy.
If you like to think so.
It's not what. No, these are nicknames you gave yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a fairy.
I'm magical.
Because you're a fairy.
There you go. If you like to say so.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you have that. If you think it,
you said it. It's not something
it was a handle that I put on online.
Do you still call yourself a fairy?
Inside, yes.
So you no longer present yourself with nicknames as a fairy. Do you still have? Did any of your friends actually start calling you any of these fairy nicknames you gave yourself? So the only person that called you a fairy was people that didn't know you and yourself.
Mm-hmm. That was online. Just online.
And so just online. So people that knew you, if they were playing the game with you online, did they use the fairy tag? Or did they use your name?
The nickname while I was going in. And that was also my fantasy football name.
Okay. So
I've now retired.
Yeah, and you retired it. Why did you retire it?
Why did I retire from fantasy football?
Why did you retire the fairy nicknames?
It's well, the side fairy is still active on Discord. That one's still active.
Okay.
That one's still active.
What do you mean active? Do you or do you not still use that as your nickname? Well, your gamer tag is not the same thing as your nickname.
Mm-mm.
This is your nickname.
Yeah.
And you still use this as your nickname.
Look, why are you being so technical with my nicknames?
I'm not. I'm trying to understand before I tell you about my nickname and how it came about.
I wanted you to introduce yourself before I even went into anywhere with mine. So why do you want to go down this?
But you went through all these fairies and I got stuck.
Because I have other nicknames. That's why.
That you came up with.
That was an online handle and everything. Those are not my actual nicknames. The online nickname chose.
So those were just the ones you gave yourself?
Yeah, online.
Because all of your other nicknames deal with your actual name.
That's it.
Okay.
I was fascinated with fairies and I absolutely love and adore fairies.
Okay. And that makes sense. I understand. All of your other nicknames dealt with your name. Okay. So.
And my height.
And your height.
And my height.
And
And
how tall are you?
4'11" and a half.
For who? What now?
4'11" and a
So
half.
your height has a four in front of it. So they call you. So people have. So you called yourself a fairy. I keep thinking other people might have given you this nickname, but you gave it to yourself of being a fairy. So have you gone anywhere dressed up like a fairy?
I have.
And did you use one of those nicknames at the time and say that's who you are this day?
Yeah, I was Tinkerbell.
Tinker, Tinkerbell's one of your nicknames?
Just for the day. It was for Halloween.
I almost reached through the camera. Like I almost reached through the camera.
Only for the day because I was dressed up with my son. I was Tinkerbell and he was the alligator for Halloween.
What was the alligator's name? TikTok?
I want to say so. Oh, wait, I think he was just Croc. Is he Croc?
Well, he swallowed a clock, and that's how they always knew he was coming from the TikTok. And I thought his name was TikTok, but I could be wrong.
We had to research that. I'm not 100%.
I'm not researching the name of the alligator from Peter Pan.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
What I'm not going to do is that. I'm not wasting that electricity, that bandwidth, that mental energy. His name was TikTok or it was not. And I'm moving on. I've spent enough time on your fairies down to you dressing up like Tinkerbell.
Hey, I mean, yes, I've done that, and I think I dressed up randomly as a fairy for something. It was to be creative for something for work, and I had some rainbow colored wings.
Alright, so
There you go.
my nickname that I've given myself came from when I realized I was delusional about the my skin tone. Okay?
Hmm.
So I played outside all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hands and arms really dark to me, I guess. To the rest of my face and my back and all the rest of that. Hands, arms really dark. I assume me and my cousin were the same color. My cousin's like a shade or two lighter than you. Hung around him all the time. People used to call me the light skinned one. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're the same color. Put my hand to his face, same color. Right? Alright. So one day, my older brother came over to wash clothes. So he's washing clothes, and at this time, my washer and dryer were outside on the back patio in a shed at this apartment complex. So you had to go outside and then into the shed for the washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
It's jacked up, but hood living. Anyway, so my brother was outside, and I went out there to talk to him, and the sun hit his back, and it bounced off and hit me in the eye and nearly blinded me. And at that point, I was like, good God, man, you're light skinned. Like, you're bright. And he was like, you're the same color that I am. And I was like, there's no way. So then I started asking people, were me and him the same color? And they were like, absolutely. You might be lighter than him. So at that point, I realized that I was mentally dark and physically light. So, long story. Well, it's not as long as your fairy stories, but to get
There's
to the point,
no interrogation about me being a fairy.
to get to the point. So, what ended up happening is I then decided that as people called me light skin, I was like, no, I'm very dark. I'm like a shiny darkness, and because it's a shiny darkness, it reflects. It's so dark that it reflects light. And the only light that your eyes can register from a darkness such as mine is the lightness of it, which makes my skin look lighter than I actually am. So then I came up with the fact that it's a shiny darkness, and it's like sunlight at midnight. So at this point, I was came up with the nickname Midnight.
Hmm.
And then I added the sun to it, but instead of just Midnight Sun, which is SUN, I put a C at the beginning of it. And nobody pronounces it Midnight Sun. They always pronounce it Midnight Season. So, so I just took the season off and my nickname became Midnight.
Oh.
So people actually call me Midnight. Like I forced people, if you're not gonna call me Midnight, don't call me at all. Playing the game. Better not use my real name, better use Midnight, otherwise not gonna respond. So yeah. I actually have people that call me Midnight. Like people that think it's the most hilarious thing because you're not dark. But it's like calling a bald guy curly, that guy slim, tall guy tiny.
Walking contradiction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's also where the darkest light skinned brother comes
Yeah.
from. Because internally, like I really feel dark internally. Like I feel I've embraced all of those roots. I've sucked them all up, and they've manifested themselves in melanin clusters around my skin. Because I have a lot of freckles of melanin clusters,
There you
where
go.
my true color has been trapped, and it's not been able to get loose from these melanin clusters.
What? What you say? I'll allow it.
Right, right. So that's what it is.
Oh. Okay, midnight.
See?
Look,
Oh,
look,
haven't
season.
called you none of those fairies yet. It's the way you carry it.
Midnight. Look, midnight sun, aka midnight.
Midnight, yeah, midnight sun.
See, I did it. Midnight.
Yeah, I was about to say no, but it is midnight sun.
Ah, see, I was listening. My ears were on. Look,
So, so funny
my
story. Another funny story.
ears were on like I tell my son.
Another funny story is when I was dating my wife,
Mhm.
we went to laser tag,
Mhm.
and I put midnight sun on there with a C, which should just be silent, like Django. And this is where it started with everybody. Like this was the first person I think I've written it out in front of, and the announcer was like, "Coming up in third place is Midnight Season." Who the heck is that? Don't know nobody named Midnight Season.
It's a gift.
So yeah, cutting off the season since people who aren't pronouncing it correctly. It just came down to midnight.
Oh.
Well, it didn't change much after that though, other than just trimming it down a little bit. It didn't go through 15 different iterations of fairy.
You kept asking about fear, why I have fear. You got hung up on my online name versus my actual nicknames.
So what are your actual nicknames that you didn't give yourself?
That's
Tish. That's it?
TT. Only, let's see, only three people call me Tish. Only three.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot more now.
Okay.
Tish.
Only three people have ever called me Tish.
Alright, so yeah,
TT
we've spent
and let's see, TT, Letty. Not many people call me Letty either.
yeah, what do you have one person that calls you Letty?
But few people call me Letty. Few people call
Who?
me Letty. They shall be a name because the people call me Letty. But
A few people?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So you had a gang of Lettys, a gang of Tishas.
Only three call me by its own name. Only three have told me
How
to
many
use.
people you need to be in a gang?
The
How many
green. Well, they've been special. So there's
I
that.
believe, I believe three people's a gang. But okay, all right. I'm sure they didn't get stomped in or danced in or whatever the gang of Tish does. All right.
Wait.
So yeah, we've spent about 15, 20 minutes on nicknames now.